This monologue was based on an interview with a woman who had good experience with a man because he liked to look at it.
This is how I came to love my vagina. It's embarrassing because it's not politically correct. I mean, I know it should have happened in a bath with salt rains from the Dead Sea, Enya playing, me loving my woman self. I know the story. Vaginas are beautiful. Our self-hatred is only the internalized repression and hatred of the patriarchal culture, right? It isn't real. Pussies unite. I know all of it. Like if we'd grown up in a culture where we were taught fat thighs were beautiful, we'd all be pounding down milkshakes and Krispy Kremes, lying on our backs, spending our days thigh expanding. But we didn't grow up in that culture. I hated my thighs. And I hated my vagina even more. I thought it was incredibly ugly. I was one of those women who had looked at it, and from the moment on, I wished I hadn't. It made me sick. I pitied anyone who had to go down there. In order to survive, I began to pretend there was something else between my legs. I imagined furniture, cozy silk futons with light cotton comforters, little velvet settees, leopard rugs or pretty things, silk handkerchiefs, quilted pot holders or velvet place settings. I got so accustomed to this that I lost all memory of having a vagina. Whenever a man was inside me, I pictured him inside a mink-lined muffler or a Chinese bowl. But then I met Bob. Bob was the most ordinary man I ever met. He was thin and tall and nondescript, and he wore khaki tan clothes. Bob did not like spicy foods or listen to Prince. He had no interest in sexy lingerie. In the summer, he spent his time in the shade. He did not share his inner feelings. He did not have any problems or issues. And was not even an alcoholic. He wasn't very funny or articulate or mysterious. He wasn't mean or unavailable. He wasn't self-involved or charismatic. He didn't drive fast. I didn't particularly like Bob. I would have missed him altogether if he hadn't picked up the change I dropped on the deli floor. When he handed me back my quarters and pennies, and his hand accidentally touched mine, something happened. I went to bed with him. That's when the miracle occurred. Turned out that Bob loved vaginas. He was a connoisseur. He loved the way they felt, the way they tasted, the way they smelled, but most importantly, he loved the way they looked. He had to look at them. First time we had sex, he told me he had to see me. Uh-oh. I'm right there, I said.
No, you.
He said.
I hope to see you.
Turn on the light, I said. Thinking he was a weirdo and freaking out in the dark. He turned on the light, then he said,
Okay, I'm ready to see you.
Right there, I waved up right here. Then he began to undress me.
I need to see you.
He replied. No need, I said, just do it.
I need to see what you look like, he said.
But you've seen a real leather couch before, I said. Bob continued. He would not stop. I wanted to throw up and die. This is awfully intimate, I said. Can't you just do it?
No,
He said.
it's who you are. I need to look.
I held my breath. He looked, and he looked. He got breathy and his face changed. He didn't look ordinary anymore. He looked like a hungry beast.
You're so beautiful,
He said.
you're elegant and deep and innocent and wild.
You saw that there, I said. It was like you read my palm.
I saw that.
He said, and so much, much more. He stayed looking for almost an hour as if he were studying a map, observing the moon, staring into my eyes, but it was my vagina. In the light, I watched him looking at me and he was so genuinely excited, so peaceful and euphoric. I began to get wet and turned on. I began to see myself the way he saw me. I began to feel beautiful and delicious, like a great painting or a waterfall. Bob wasn't afraid. He wasn't grossed out. I began to swell, began to feel proud, began to love my vagina. And Bob lost himself in there, and I was there with him, in my vagina. And we were gone.
This is a Not-So-Happy-Vagina-Fact, found in UNICEF's 2005 report, Female Genital Mutilation and Cutting, a Statistical Exploration. Female genital mutilation has been inflicted on approximately 130 million girls and young women. In the 28 countries where it is practiced, mostly in Africa, about 3 million young girls a year can expect the knife, or the razor, or a glass shard to cut their clitoris or remove it altogether. In a man, it would range from amputation of most of the penis to removal of all of the penis. Short-term results include tetanus, hemorrhages, cuts in the urethra, bladder, and vaginal walls. Long-term, chronic uterine infection, increased agony, and danger during childbirths and early deaths.
There has been a horrific regional war raging in the Congo over minerals for the last 14 years. Nearly 6 million people have died, and hundreds of thousands of women and girls have been raped and sexually tortured. The women of the Congo and the Foundation Pansy with V-Day have opened City of Joy, a revolutionary leadership community for survivors of violence in the town of Bukavu, Eastern Congo. Despite the unthinkable horrors, Congolese women have survived. They are devoted with willpower and courage to carving out a new path towards a peaceful and empowered future. And they are still dancing. This monologue is for them.
What if I told you I don't have a vagina? It's gone. It's hard to describe what is there. It's not an organ, exactly. It is something a doctor made. Something he put there when I was asleep. You wouldn't recognize it. It is not a vagina. It is an outcome. It is the mad look in their eyes. It is the way they took turns and never saw me. It is their thrusting and tearing. It is my daughter and husband being forced to watch. It is what they stole from our minds. It is their foul smell down there. It is the blood, the hot plastic, the burning, the burn. There are many of us, thousands, mutilated, closed off, cast out. But in the forest, we found each other. At first, could not speak. But the larks would not let us sleep, and the swamp bush willow kept us green. And the wind and the mad rain washed our grief. We are gathering now. We are preparing. You will be surprised what lives here now, underneath our brightly colored punwas between our legs. Don't be fooled. Our vaginas know how to prepare. Our vaginas know how to dance. Our vaginas know strategies. Our vaginas have nothing to lose. Soon.